Welcome everyone to another edition of Universal Monster Blu-ray Reviews. So let's take a look at our next review, and it might not be a full moon tonight, but it's coming soon. And what better way to celebrate Halloween, than to look at the Wolfman Legacy Collection. The Wolfman 1941, starring Lon Chaney Jr. as Larry Tabbitt, the Wolfman. It also starred Claude Rains as John Tabbitt, Bela Lugosi as Bela, and Evelyn Ankers as Gwen. So, as you know, the Wolfman was originally conceived, it was going to be for Boris Karloff, but that didn't work out, and eventually it made its way to where they cast Lon Chaney. The movie was originally, or the screenplay was based on an original story written by Kurt Stillmark, and it was produced and directed by George Wagner. Of course, Jack Pierce created the makeup for the Wolfman, and there's an interesting story behind the Wolfman makeup that I'll talk about here in a little bit. So, this started off the first of multiple appearances for Lon Chaney as Larry Tabbitt. He would go on to reprise that role of the character 4 more times, and is the only Universal monster to be played by the same actor. Nobody else played the Wolfman in the Universal Monster movies. Lon Chaney and only Lon Chaney played Larry Tabbitt, the Wolfman. So, it was a very well done movie. The makeup was really well done, and special effects showing the transformation of Larry Tabbitt into the Wolfman is very, very amazing. Claude Rains gives a great performance in this movie. Bela Lugosi, while it's a supporting role and he's not in the movie that long, does a great job. Evelyn Ankers, and this is an interesting story, that she did a lot of movies with Lon Chaney Jr. and stories say that off camera they did not get along very well. So I can imagine how difficult it was to do these romantic scenes, and you can't even stand each other when you're off camera. But Chaney gives his best performance. I think this is the character that really establishes him and puts him on the map. Now, it's been said that he hated putting the Wolfman makeup on. It drove him crazy. There's actually a still shot picture, and you'll see it in one of the documentaries I'm going to be talking about here in just a little bit, where he's sitting in the chair being made up as the Wolfman, and he's got his fists like he's getting ready to just knock out Jack Pierce. But it was a great makeup nevertheless. So, like I said, Lon Chaney reprised his role of Larry Tabbitt 4 more times. So, another thing about the Wolfman movie is that a lot of people thought it was just poor casted him as the son of an Englishman. Kurt Stillmarker thought that, but nevertheless, I think Lon Chaney was the right choice to play the Wolfman, Larry Tabbitt. So he would go on, and he would not have Wolfman would not have a movie by himself. This would be his only solo picture. For the rest of his appearances, he would be teaming up with other monsters, and that started with the Wolfman, with Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and in that film, that had Lon Chaney Jr. as Larry Tabbitt going up against the Frankenstein's monster, now played by Bela Lugosi. And it basically it merges the plot lines of the Wolfman and the Ghost of Frankenstein together. It's probably what establishes a shared universe, well before the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if you were watching this Saturday or Halloween night, and you have MeTV, they will be airing on Svengoolie Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. So that'd be fun to watch. So that movie, I think Larry Tabbitt, Lon Chaney, really is the star of the picture because he has more on-screen time than any of the other characters. Even though he's takes a while before you see. I think it's 5 minutes in is before you finally see Larry Tabbitt. However, there's a nice transformation scene in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman of Lon Chaney transforming into the Wolfman, and it was really meticulously done, and it's probably one of the best transformation scenes for the Wolfman that was ever done in any of the movies. So the next one, The House of Frankenstein, Lon Chaney Jr. teams up with legendary Boris Karloff for this out. House of Dracula, House of Dracula, I'm getting ahead of myself. The House of Frankenstein, has Dracula in it, believe it or not. Also the Frankenstein monster, obviously, which is not played by Boris Karloff. Boris Karloff plays a fresh new role, Dr. Niemann. He's a mad scientist with a hunchback assistant named Daniel. And the Frankenstein monster in this film, and for the next 3 appearances, would be played by Glenn Strange. So, this movie, we have, I believe, 3 transformation scenes for Larry Tabbitt as the Wolfman. Chaney spends more time out of the makeup in this film than he does in any. And I think the reason for that is if I'm not mistaken, that if my memory serves me correct, of course, these were filmed during World War II, and believe it or not, what they used to do the fur for the Wolfman was yak hair. And for whatever reason, it was difficult to get yak hair, so they were conserving in it. So that's why you had the limited transformation scenes with Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman. So the next film, which I had blurred out already, House of Dracula, of course stars Dracula. And by the way, in House of Dracula and House of Frankenstein, Dracula is played by John Carradine. So, in House of Dracula, we of course have the Frankenstein monster, who barely appears in this movie, the Wolfman, of course Larry Tabbitt, and then John Carradine as Dracula. This only has 2 transformation scenes for Lon Chaney. Like I said, they had, were low on supplies of yak hair, and so that it limited them doing makeup for the Wolfman. So they kept the transformation scenes down. And in this film, we actually see Larry Tabbitt cured of his wolfism, and that's through surgery. A good scientist figures out a way that his curse is not actually a curse. It's due to pressure on his brain that caused the abnormal physical transformation into the Wolfman. And by doing surgery that relieved that pressure, he's cured and he's actually able to live a normal life. So we get to his final appearance, and that's in the classic horror film, comedy classic, Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein. This is where Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, and the Wolfman. Dracula being played by Bela Lugosi, his second and only other repeated time of playing Dracula. The only other time he played Dracula was in the 1931 version of Dracula, the English version. Although he would go on to play other vampire types in his career, including Mark of the Vampire and Return of the Vampire. So, anyway, if you watch Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, and you look at the Wolfman makeup and you compare it to the Wolfman, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman and such, you'll notice a big difference in the makeup. And the reason for that is by the time of Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein, Jack Pierce is no longer the makeup artist at Universal. He was fired from Universal. Basically, he never evolved with the times. He was not well known. He was not familiar with foam rubber appliances, and he was stuck in his own method of using cotton and collodion, which was very time consuming. Out of the kit makeup, which was very time consuming. And Universal was wanting to get every buck for its bang that they could get, and that's one of the reasons why they were doing these monster team-up movies. And Jack Pierce had to get these multiple monsters had to be made up. He had to get Frankenstein monster. He had to get Wolfman. He had to get Dracula made up, and they didn't have the time for him to hold up production to do his painstaking meticulous methods of doing the makeup. So he was fired and replaced by Bud Westmore. And Bud Westmore would do the makeup for Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein, and you could tell that that's a mask for the Wolfman. You can tell. And it's just not the same quality, it's just not the same look. So you can tell there is a way difference in the makeup, and it is sad because Jack Pierce was a great makeup man. So anyway, now there are two other movies that is in this collection that are totally unrelated to the Lon Chaney's version of the Wolfman, Larry Tabbitt. And the first being is Werewolf London, and that was released in 1935. This was well before, this was 6 years before the Wolfman came out. Okay, this starred Henry Hull as Dr. Glenn. He was a botanist who was in search of a rare plant that only grew in moonlight in Tibet. And while there trying to obscure the plant, he was attacked by a werewolf. And comes to find out he is a werewolf himself, and that the plant is the only antidote that can stop a transformation. Now, this, like I said, precedes the Wolfman, and it was said that Jack Pierce did the makeup for Werewolf in London, and that Henry Hull did not like the makeup, and he basically went over Jack Pierce's head and went to the producers and said, "Look, this makeup is not going to work. I'm not doing this. This is not going to work. What's the point? They're supposed to. Even if I'm a werewolf, they're supposed to know. Hey, that's Dr. Glendon. They're supposed to. Even though I'm in werewolf form, supposed to recognize me. And that's why he had to change the makeup for this. And in reality, the makeup that is finally used for Werewolf of London, to me, is a very unique werewolf makeup, and it is really well done. Transformation scenes are really well done for this film. I really like it, and I think it helps with the fact that the makeup is totally different in the way it was done, and it allowed easier to get the makeup on, because the makeup had to be put on a little at a time, filmed a little bit at a time, filmed at a little bit at a time. They didn't have the kind of techniques and special effects that we have here today. So anyway, I love Werewolf of London. I think it's a unique movie, and it's really a standalone movie of its own. I highly recommend you watch it. It's a really good movie. The other movie that is on here, and that is a 1946 She-Wolf of London. And it's been a long time since I've watched this movie, because it's really not a monster movie. I think someone just liked the ideal of She-Wolf in London. It's a murder's being taken place in London, and it's being blamed on a werewolf, and this young woman believes she's a werewolf, when it turns out she's not. The murders are being committed by a person that makes it look like it's a werewolf. She-Wolf in London stars June Lockhart, and if that name sounds familiar to you, well, it should. Just think of Gene Robinson from Lost in Space. So anyway, let's talk about the special features that is on this collection. Okay, you get Werewolf by Moonlight, excuse me, Monster by Moonlight documentary. That's a documentary of the Wolfman and all of his appearances throughout the Universal Monster movies. You also get Wolfman from Ancient Curse to Modern Myth. That's a documentary over the basic werewolf movies. Purest in Heart, the life and legacy of Lon Chaney Jr. Very great documentary about the life of Lon Chaney Jr. He had a long career, but it was hampered by alcoholism and things, and it really talks about those aspects of his life. And I find it a very good documentary. Also, you get the documentary He Who Made Monsters, The Life and Art of Jack Pierce. That documentary is also available on the Mummy Legacy Collection. The Wolfman Archives, which has lobby cards, movie posters, and still shots from production. There's, of course, the Abbott and Costello Meets the Monsters documentary, and 2 feature commentaries, and of course the theatrical trailers. So I'm just going to take this out. I'm not going to open this up because the case inside's broke and I don't want to mess up well, I'll open it up like that. You can see I'm just going to open it up like this. I'm not going to show the other disc, but you can see here the Wolfman, Lon Chaney made up as the Wolfman. You can see the Wolfman disc and such. So anyway, the back and the front, and let me show you the back here where you can see it a little more, because on all these the actual case itself is the same as the case cover. So here we go, list of the movies, still shot from each of the movies that are on this collection. So anyway, very good collection. This is also available on DVD, but why would you want to buy it on DVD when you can have it on Blu-ray? So I have this movie in the 6-pack Universal Monsters collection that came out. This was when they first were released on Blu-ray. You can see back here, here's the movie posters for Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, the Visible Man, the Wolfman, and Bride of Frankenstein. So, okay, moving along. And we're going to look at the Wolfman Special Edition, Lon Chaney Jr., the Wolfman. That's a nice picture of him as the Wolfman howling at the moon. And you can look back here. Here's another little nice silhouette and a description of the bonus features in the disc that you get with this 2-disc set. So, and you can see there. So, and on this you're going to get all the special features. Moonlight, Monster by Moonlight, the documentary. You're going to get the Wolfman Archives, the theatrical gallery, the trailer gallery, the Wolfman, Ancient Curse to Modern Myth, Purest in Heart, the Lon Chaney Jr. documentary, He Who Made Monsters, the Jack Pierce documentary, and Universal Horror, which is a documentary about the Universal horror movies that were made from the 1920s up until the late 1940s. So, and before I had showed you that, I should have showed you this one first, and that is the Wolfman in its original DVD release. This is the movie poster that was for the Wolfman, and on the back of the case is a nice little shot of Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman holding eagle at anchors, and a description of all the features that you get in the movie. So, and that's going to include, as for those features, you're going to get Monster by Moonlight, documentary of the Wolfman, feature commentary, the Wolfman Archives, which has the movie posters, the lobby cards, and production stills, cast and crew film notes, theatrical trailer. So, and you can see here, there's the little disc, and then there's the Wolfman movie poster, and you pull this out, of course. Then there's a little shot there. That's the back of the cover with Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman holding evil at anchors. And if you open it up, you see a nice little shot there of Maria Opolskaya standing over Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman. So you can get this on DVD if you want this, but Why would you? If you just want the Wolfman and you don't care about the other movies, you can get it on Blu-ray singly by itself. So, in the next set is the Lon Chaney Jr Collection. This is the first time that they collected all the movies together. So, and if you take it out and see, you can see this nice little silhouette of the Wolfman. And back here, you can see the little wagon and stuff. And this is a list of all the discs and what's on the disc. You open it up, you can see there's the Wolfman disc, and then you can see this is dual disc here. So, and on this one, you will get the following films. You will get the Wolfman. Excuse me. You get the Wolfman. You get Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. You get She-Wolf of London, and you get Werewolf London. You do not get House of Frankenstein, nor do you get House of Dracula. So this I had bought in simultaneously with the Frankenstein collection and the Dracula collection from Best Buy, and with that came these three nice minibus. And this here is the minibus for the Wolfman. You can see here it has the Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr. in the year 1941. That is a really good done look of Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman. Nice little stand here. It looks really good. You can see the bottom there. Yeah. Okay, now this and this are not going to be available to purchase. You're going to have to get this on second. This on second hand. I doubt you're not going to get this. This is a collector's item. This is going to be definitely, you're going to have to hunt hard on eBay for this. And just so you know, I'm not departing with these, so they're not going anywhere. So let's look at one final thing, and that is they release Werewolf of London and She-Wolf of London on a double feature single disc. This is the movie posters for each one of the movies. And here's the back description of each of the movies and such. And if you open it up, you're going to see, yeah, see, basically that's what you're going to see there. So anyway, Wolfman is a lot of people's favorite movies. Wolfman's inspired a lot of movies like Werewolf of London, The Howling, and much more. It was finally remade, and a lot of people had mixed reviews about it, and they're talking about maybe doing it again. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Well, guys, thank you so much for checking out this another edition of the Universal Monster Blu-ray reviews. We're doing them up till Halloween. We're going to go through all the monsters, so don't worry. Appreciate you guys' support. Hey, check out all the other great content on the Geek This Week YouTube channel, including the Hammer Horror Blu-ray reviews. Check out all the great panels from the various Pensacons and much more. Thank you guys for all your support, and we'll catch you for another Universal Monster Blu-ray reviews.